Hi friends, I'm Shashank and today we are going to learn about the tools. So in the previous episode we have seen how a normal UI of Photoshop looks and some of the small functionality of Photoshop. But today we will be going through tools that is known as the heart of Photoshop, and also it will be playing a very basic and amazing role for all the editing that you will be doing in Photoshop. So without any further delay, let's get started. So the next thing that we are going to start now is related to tools. Tools you see on the left side panel. We will be going through all the tools right now, and the first tool that we see is a rectangular marquee tool. If you select something on this layer, suppose this is the layer, color layer, on which I want to select the psychology of color that is written, and I want to just place this a bit up. So you see it has copied, but if I move this, that particular text has been copied, right? And why it's getting hidden? Because this particular layer is below this layer. If I bring this layer up, there you go. It does something like this. I will do a normal CTRL plus transformation and I will put this up on this. You see now, right? There you go. You see this particular layer on the top. Okay. Even more, I will do just for a check. Here you go. So this is the normal marquee tool. If you want to do similar on suppose card, I will just place this this particular thing and paste it here, bring this marquee tool and take this up and bring this over the other layer, keep it here, maybe. So these are the normal transformations and these things that you will be using in Photoshop. Coming to the next tool that is named as the lasso tool. This is also a normal selection tool, and if I do a similar kind of activity on this, maybe like this, I copy this, bring this card up. On this card I will just paste it. You see it has got something here. Okay, so I am able to copy the things right now, and if I go into the card onto this line again in this layer, the main layer on the background, you see the color layer. If I select this tool polygon lasso, I can select something like this. Okay, and CTRL C V, there you go. I have copied something like this. Okay, so you see that magnetic lasso is an amazing tool, very rarely used, but let's see. Let's do on a red magnetic lasso. What it does is you see, if I place something here, it just blends automatically onto that surface. If some image is there, then it will allow to work on that, and then you can do CTRL C, paste it there, bring that to another red. Okay, so these are the normal transformations, the normal things that we see here in this tool. And next is the object selection tool, and for this tool what I will do right now is bring in some image of maybe myself only, or okay, let me get something really amazing. Here is one of my creations from the previous things, and you see that I will just place it and transform it into a bigger image. Maybe this is the one that I keep. Okay, so this is my image, and you see this image here. I will go to normal you say object selection tool, click on this, select this much, maybe whatever you want, wherever you feel that your subject stays. So for me the subject is this, and if you see, this is an amazing selection. If you see right now, It has selected the whole object that I wanted to select. Rather than some small problems are there here which we will learn how to fix in the future lessons. But right now, see, if it has selected something so easily, so properly, that you can just take this, copy this, paste this, and you have this one more. Okay, now the quick selection tool, again we will do the same thing on them. So there is the image, and let's do a quick selection. Here is the image on which I wanted to do. Let's see this. See this. Properly did it. It has selected a bit more. And if it's selected a bit more, then what you can do is you can press Alt and just remove this, whatever is unnecessary for you. So these things are unnecessary that we don't need can be removed. This is happening with the Alt key, and I'm just trying to do this on normal layer. Okay, this is one of the things. So just zoom in and you can remove like this. This is how you're fixing. Now here you can just increase, here you can decrease. On those things you can handle. And I will tell you, a normal bracket key reduces the stroke. Okay, so let's increase this. I decrease this. Okay, just see this. I will decrease the size of this. Oh, maybe this much. Proper. This happens really proper. This is how you can select from here also. If I want to minus some selection that I have already done, those things you can control here. Now this I see, and here I see some things have been missed. I will just do like this. I just selected here. I will just do like this, and maybe now this is taking too much time, so I will press the forward bracket key and increase the size. So you see, if I increase the size here, the sizes have been changing. Okay, so now you see the size has changed, and now I can select more properly of a better area. Okay, so this is how you will go through. Here I don't want, so I will just press Alt and do switches to a minus data, and just see this. Okay, so now this, see, where is the mouth gone? Okay, so now we have everything intact. Not proper selection, but I am just telling you how to do this. There will be a lot of things that we will be doing in future. So for now, let's do a CTRL-C and make another sister brother pair. They must be cursing me. We will go to something next. Now magic wand tool is again same thing. I have a similar kind of thing. If I select a particular layer like this, and I do a magic wand and select some subject of it. Oh, sorry. I have selected this layer, so it is coming here. If I go here, if I select this and do a magic wand on that, remove the selection, come here, so it selects something this, and if you see this, so what magic wand does is it selects a same image, same color that is matching, right? Okay, so if I do this, see this, in that scope, whatever is there, it will keep on selecting of the similar kind of color. So now you see here, it's a gray color. If all the grays are touching each other, it will select all the grays related to that. Okay, so like that, the selection has been done. If I press see this, okay, like this, it selects. Now if I keep on moving like this, 1 minute, it selects face, it selects mouse. So I will just take his hair now, for now, for the purpose. Let's make it funny. Mind it, this is just for fun. Okay, I go to the brush tool, I select some less, maybe 18 px. Okay, 18 px should not be more than this. This is the madam. Okay, now What happened was this madam had something. Here you can select the color. I will select the color as something like okay, we'll do the normal color picker. So this is the color picker that you see. 1 minute. There is a color picker. I select this color. So whatever color that I selected is visible here. If I select this, it gets visible there. So here's a color. Even if you want to change to some different value, you can change from here. But for now, we will go here and put. This madam has got one spot also there. Okay, so this is the one, and for this we will utilize this spot healing brush tool. Okay, so this was the layer on which we did something. You see, if I do a spot healing on this, I'm selecting something different or what? Yeah, there it is. So I selected a different layer. So all these are layers. So layer 1, 2, 3, different layers are there. I just selected the wrong layer. So this is the layer that I am targeting right now. This is the one. Okay. This was something. Okay. Yeah, this is the layer that I was targeting. And if I come here, I will zoom in. I will do this. It removes the spot. So now I think you must be understanding that how easy it's to remove the spot. Let's forget that. Why not remove this, guys? There it goes. It's removed. Okay. So this is a normal tooling, and some of the other things will also deal with this patching tool, content aware move tool, and red eye removal tool. Suppose the eye while taking a photograph have become red, that ghostly eye. In that case, you can go with this red eye tool. Okay. Now brush tool I have already explained. Pencil tool, you can see depends on the type of size that you select, and it's a bit more, what you say, feathery. It's very simplistic tool. Okay. Like in paint tool, if you go, brush tool you go, it is like whenever I paint something, it just instantly paints. But the smoothing is case of pencil tool is more, because usually pencil tool is used for hair. Okay, now I'm not drawing the hairs properly, but still something I drew and I am okay with that. Okay, so just for a while I just made this hair. So now this is happening by the mouse, but usually we will use pen and tablets. I will have a separate episode for how to use pen tablets for creating hairs, because it works simply and really like a pencil. The amount of pressure you put, the amount of stroke gets done. Because here if you see right now, the stroke is much pixelated and the stroke is much harsh here. It is not lightening up after going down, so those things will be taken care. Okay, coming to the stamp tool, if I press the plus icon and I press this, okay, so you can see this. You can sample it using a clone tool. So suppose if this is the place, okay, I want to sample this area. Now the thing is, I have selected some different layer and I want to select something different. So this is the main layer I have selected. Okay, this is the main layer, the layer which we have here. Okay, now you see a lot of grass that is grown here, and we want to use the grass to increase more maybe. So let's go to the clone stamp tool. Now you see I have selected this layer. You see that particular, wherever I have run the stamp tool, now I pressed, okay, cancel this, come here, again go here, Okay, select this layer, press CTRL, press Alt back, and click on that layer. So it samples it. Now I have sampled it. Okay. So for sample, the object that should be there is a normal raster image. So I will convert the smart object. Right now you see this logo, the small icon there. It tells that this is a smart object. Whenever an image is a smart object and we want to do some of the functionalities, out of which one is the cloning tool, in such cases we need to go with the smart object. Okay. We need to remove the smart object feature of that. So what is smart object? Smart object itself is a separate document. Okay, so this separate document can be opened in a separate tab of Photoshop, and then on that again you will be applying more effects. So just after this I will just explain that what is smart object, but let me complete with the tools panel. Right now I will just click on OK, and you see the green data onto the now. Okay, so here, everywhere I am just pulling that. Okay, see, you can see that I'm applying some effects. Maybe why not apply here? Wait, so like this you can apply. I am selecting this area now, this thing. Now why it is used, that also I will tell. So this is the image right now, and suppose in my view or in my picture, during taking the picture, something was there, and that something was quite big. Here you see some object came in. That's just destructing the photograph, whatever you have taken. In that case, come to the clone stamp tool. You can use other tools also, spot healing brush tool also, but especially in case of grasses, what happens is some stones will be there, but it will be really tough for a particular person to just create a proper grass. So what does it do? You can sample that grass from somewhere else and place on that. So now I will be using a normal clone stamp tool and just make it more bigger using the bracket keys. Big box bracket forward increases the size of the brush or any of the tools that you are using currently. Back bracket will decrease it. Okay, back box bracket will decrease it. Okay, so now I will press Alt. That shows me the icon of sampling. I click till left on the mouse button. Here I click. Okay, now you see there I patch. So the patch has been done, and I don't think so you can identify that there was something mysterious there. Okay, so now coming to the next thing, now coming to the history brush tool. These things you can just go over a normal documentation, because it just brings whatever back was there, whatever I was editing. So just see this now. If I do this, it has brought everything that was in history. Okay, so coming to the next thing, eraser tool, background eraser tool, and normal tools. So you can use the eraser tool to erase, that you already know, you would be doing in the schools also. The first thing that we do in schools during the computer lessons was this only. So the next tool is the paint one. In that we have so many things: gradient, paint bucket, and 3D material drop. So I will be explaining gradient and paint bucket because you will be using these two a lot. Okay, so come to the gradient tool. If you see, I have selected the gradient tool. Now I see this mark. I can just left click on this and drag on the right. It creates a gradient. Okay, now this is the gradient that I've already selected before. You can change the gradient somewhere here. If you go into blues, you see like this, whatever you want. Like I will select this for you. Maybe this will look good. Again, do it. just like that. Okay, there it is. So you can see now that gradients are properly mapped and a lot of things are there. Okay, now I will go into the paint bucket tool. Nothing, whatever color you have selected here, just see this. This tells the amount of saturation. If you see, if I increase this, the saturation level is increasing. Right? Sorry. And whenever I move everything, like this also I am moving, the RGB values change. Even the CMYK percentages changes based on this. So whenever you are converting, the equal amount of data gets reflected here, all the colors that you see. Now suppose I want a paint that matches something really nicely. Maybe I will just select a red, pinkish type of. So pink I have selected and I click OK. Click. There you go. So we were talking about how saturation moves. So if you see, if I am changing the value of the colors, the saturation remains same for that particular period of time, but hue changes, brightness changes. This deals with the saturation. What does saturation means? If I change the saturation to everything down, that becomes a gray, true gray. You can tell it's kind of a between a value of black and white. So that's a true bright color, that is a gray color. And on that, if you apply hue and brightness, that changes the color. That's the basic of color. We will be learning more about the basics of the color, so let's keep it forward. Maybe in future we will be going into that, but now coming to the next tool. So we just talked about right now about the color values that we are picking. We picked up using the eyedropper tool. Okay, so these are simple things that will be coming in future, and you will be utilizing this in each and every each and every composition that you will be creating using Adobe Photoshop. So coming to the next thing, this is the blur tool. Now I will just select one of the layers. This is the so I will just go back and remove all these whatever I have done till now. So 1 minute, I will just keep one of it. Maybe the one that I want to keep here is related to this. Okay, 1 minute. I will delete all the things that we had till now. Okay, so 1 minute, I just selected something, maybe that's an issue. Yeah, so I just select all the layers here. And pick this up, move there it goes. Okay, so now I have deleted all the layers related to this. Now I will go into very nice tool. This is one of a good tool. If you see, now this is the layer. Already it's kind of blur, but just to tell you, we will try to make this also to blur a particular object. If you are doing directly on the raster image, on the image, if you see, this is the one I click on, changing into a raster one instead of smart object, some of the things that we directly apply here. So yeah, right now you are seeing a lot of limitations that you are seeing currently, but they will be changing into an adjustment layer in future. So we will be applying all those in a different layer where things will be full constructive. There is no destructive. Like if I change something here, I cannot go back. I need to do CTRL-Z and then go back to all the things. But in future, whenever we want to apply all those things, we will go through the adjustment layers. This thing will come in future. In the future tutorials, I will be explaining. Today, the basics is what you should know about how the tools works, but what are the best things to go with the tools on the constructive way, that things we will be explaining in the future. Okay, so now this is the blur tool that I have already selected, and if I place this blur tool on something like this, you can see things are getting blurred. So why we apply blur tool, what happens is sometimes the subjects and the things are so much sharpened in the sense if the edges are too big, in that cases we do this. And to tell you the example of this, I will pull up some image related to this. Maybe let me take this one of the image that I already have. This is the image. Okay, so this is a big image if you see right now. Okay, I will just place this image here maybe, and just see this image. Things are proper, everything is perfect, but sometimes the edges will be so sharp. Here it's not sharp, but still we will apply some blur tool. If you see, I will convert this into raster image first and then go into this. Okay, if you see now, I can blur this particular area properly. There you go. I can blur this area in a way so that sometimes the merge is looking good, sometimes it should look good properly. Okay, if I want to show something different maybe, so I can do something like this on the edges of the objects. Usually the blurrings will be there. Okay, so like this we will blur, or let's say something is written on it and you want to blur that off, so you can do that using this tool. Okay, if I go to the sharpen tool, the same different thing sharpen does is it changes the blur position to a sharpen position, and we will be seeing that. So just see this, how it is sharpening that particular area. You can see that, right? It's creating some sharpening effect, but this will be happening much proper. And sometimes what happens is you want to control the level of sharpening you want to do. In that case, you can see this, you can change the strength to 50 to 100, then it will sharpen will be much harder. Okay, and if I change the strength to something like 10%, it will be slowly sharpening the things, slowly it will sharpen. Okay, so these things we need to understand, and slowly gradually we will understand these things properly. Okay, there are a lot of blend modes also, those we will talk about later, related tutorials. Okay, so let me come to the next tool, that is smudge tool. What smudge tool does is, I have used some other brush in previous things, so let me come into the soft round, and if you see, this is a smudge tool that I will be using on this. It will push the image somewhere inside, right? You can see this, it will push the things inside. If you feel that some edges are coming outside of the image and some blackness is coming, you can push it. So like I want to see like something like this. If you see it is pushing the image into it, maybe you can say, right? It's pushing the image into it. So those kind of things you can use in smudges. You can do that. But now coming into something different, like dodge tool, what does it do? Well, this tool is kind of a miracle for photographers. What they do is they just go on the face and apply this, and people become fair. So if you want to test this, you can test this, but this is a normal tool. Sometimes what happens is your object is too dark and you are compositing images. In such cases you can try this out. However, I don't recommend sometimes this tool, but we can check out. Okay, so now let me delete this. Let's come to this particular image. Okay, so yeah, I will delete this. Cool, I am here, and now I will select a very nice tool, one of the tools that I like, and you will be using it everywhere. So please learn this tool. This is amazing tool, and I will be giving a separate tutorial for this whole pen tool, because it requires that. It requires a separate tutorial to learn how a pen tool works. So if you see this, what I will do is I will click on this. Okay, I click on this point, this point, this point, this point, this point, this point. I can make shapes using this. I can do a selection using this. If you see, I will select a path and that becomes a path. Here, press Alt. Now come here. Okay, so there you go. Normal again. You started working. Okay, so there you go. Proper. Here I pressed Alt. There you go. So this is my whole selection that you see right now. I can do like this and tell that make selection. Okay, this is a new selection. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so now this you can see this selection has been made, and if I click on mask, I see that particular thing only here you see, right? So we will come into these additional functionality that I just shown here in future, but right now let's go back. Okay, now a normal typography tool, typography will be something like this. Net, I will just remove all the selections and paths that I have created right till now. Okay, so let me remove this, and I will remove the path too. Coming to the layers now, we have all the layer here, and in the layer nothing is there visible, so I place this somewhere down. Here I go. Okay, so there is some normal text that has been written. So typography is a very important topic for understanding how you should write, how your type, whichever your font you are choosing, that matches the things or not properly. Those things are very important, so we will be going through that also. But before that, just telling you the fonts. Here are the fonts. Everything related to fonts is here. You can select some of the font, like Onyx I have selected right now. Okay, so this is the Onyx font, and I can choose the typefaces, like whether it should be a regular or other things type of it. The changes to character you can change here. Okay, like you can give something like 190 for this. Okay, so there you go, and I will just do a CTRL-T and increase the width of this image. Cool, so you see it here. But what I do is I like Montserrat too much, so I will just do a Montserrat form. Okay, so it became too big. I will go with 165 maybe. Okay, so there you go. Okay, this part is one of the things. This deals with the spacing. Now you see this, you can see an icon here. If I do this icon on the left, the spacing between the character decreases. That's called kerning. Kerning is very important thing, and it's one of the very important topic in the parts of typography whenever we are learning. So we need to deal with kerning. Now this, how this looks, that is very important. Okay, so if I go into -10, just see this, it creates some impact on it. Okay, the look of the font is very important. And then I will just go here and I will say my van. Okay, I just showed like this, you see this. Okay, my van, I have written my van here somewhere, and then you want to think of like, okay, I will keep like this maybe. Okay, this is the tool that is still remaining. I will explain all this in the coming things till now. So text I am explaining right now, and then let me see if anything is left over. Okay, dodge tool, burn tool. Burn will, so just to explain the burn tool, so font I have already explained. Now this is how fonts will be added for your application. Now if I do a dodge tool, it increases the exposure of that, and if I do a burn tool, it burns it. So just see this. it is making it much darker. So sometimes, which our photographers never use, because they want to make everyone fair, not like me. Okay, so coming to the next thing, text we have already covered. We have path selection tool. These things are normal, you can just go through it. I will explain the thing. Hand tool is to just move the things properly. Okay, so you can also again think of it, how to do that. Okay, then the normal shape tools, if you want to bring the shapes into action, like if I want to bring this here, there you go, the shape tool, and give the color to particular. I will select this. This is the color bar. If I select this, you will have a color picker here, or some of the additional colors that you already have. You want to pick gradients, you can pick gradients like this, or whatever you want, but right now I will just select a normal color, like maybe the Vans color. There you go. Okay, so this is proper till now, and we are fine with it. Yeah, so this is an image on which we are working till now. Now you see the text and the underlining fill that we have just done right now. Okay, now what we will be taking up is a very simple tool known as zoom tool. Suppose you have something to look into and you have a picture, you can just zoom in like this and use a hand tool. You can use this tool, understand this tool properly. Okay, so you can see the shortcuts also here, like it's telling Z. If you press Z, it comes directly onto your, and you can zoom in, and then if you press H, you can use a hand tool there. So these all the shortcuts, and you can use all these things. Now comes an amazing part for you. It's kind of a bonus thing that I wanted to add from my end. So hand tool and zoom tool we have already looked into, and now an amazing tool that you will just like it. So it's not a tool, it's a functionality in Adobe Photoshop that has a lot of algorithms between it, and it's a lifesaver technique for us, for some of the Photoshoppers, because some of the cases we want things to be perfect, just replicating. Now if you see this image, the part that is below, this is transparent. I want to fill it with this particular what you say, road. How to do that? Just select this, oh sorry, not this, go to the selection, select this. Okay, I have selected this area, just a normal left click, slide it down, and then go to image, oh sorry, edit. 1 minute, let's see. Okay, 1 minute. I have selected a wrong layer here. I have to select an action blur. This is the layer on which I wanted to work on. So I have already selected this layer. You can see the selection that I've already made here. You can see the selection, and on this selection I will go to edit, and I see this option, content aware fill. What it does is, from this area that we have here, it tries to fill this area. Okay, I do a content aware fill, and it does some manipulations. You can see the manipulations being done, some algorithms, and it does something really amazing. I just like it. Just see this. This is so nice. This is amazing, and you see the things have been properly filled, right? So this is what I want to show, and it is used, it's amazing algorithm from Photoshop. The last tool that I want to tell right now is Adobe's one of the very nice tool, and it's actually related to the transformation, the transform tool. Now you can do a different type of transformations, but we will be covering that in future thing. But right now I will just show a normal transformation. You can see that this is one of the shapes that we created. If I do a CTRL plus T, there is, it selects this part, but I want to select something that this shape has. This is a shape, this is the rectangle. I will select, click on this, do a CTRL-T. You can see it has selected. I will press Alt and zoom into it, and now I can click on CTRL and then click on any of the points. Suppose this is the point, and I can drag this like this. Just see this. I can drag any of the points like this and like this. So let me make it similar to road. Okay, so just see this. This looks amazing for me. Okay, there you go. I have a proper transformation setup. It kinds of creates an inclination towards the plane. Okay, so I guess for the today's lesson I have covered a lot of things related to Adobe Basics. However, there are many basics still left, and we will be covering in the upcoming episodes of my channel. And please hit like and subscribe so that you are always aware whatever I am posting here. And what will be coming in the next lessons is related to what all you can do here in the blend modes, how you can set the opacity, fills, how to remove the backgrounds, and how to go for the brushes. You will see the several things that are here. You have so many things matched in the 3D. You have so many things in filter. There are a lot of functionalities that we will be going through in the future lessons. And once we complete all these functionality, we will be going into a very nice image composition. What I am planning is like we should be good in the ground basics of Photoshop, and then we will jump onto some image composition things. And I am sure if you just master these of the techniques right now, whatever I have told and whatever I will be telling in the future coming episodes, you will master the composition art also. And if you know all these tools, then it is really nice to do the composition. Directly jumping into the composition part, it's really tough because you will be doing the composition and then failing in some of the aspects, and then you will come again to the basics. So my way of formatting these things is like we should properly go with the basics first, learn each and everything about the tools. If you want to apply some kind of things and techniques that I have used now, it will be kind of 20% of the job to know some of the basics, but there are so many things that will be coming apart from now that you have to apply into your normal projects also. So there are several things. There will be related to typography, there will be related to adjustments, there are related to masking, something related to the options of whatever we see here right now. If you see something related to how we are going to saturate the things, how we are going to give the color balance, the curves, everything will be amazing. So please wait for my next episode that will be coming in related to Adobe Photoshop. And also in future I will be posting a lot of videos related to Adobe XD, Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Premiere. So please have a look into that, and we will get back into some time. So please give me a break now. And I started in day and now this is a night. So yeah, I am hoping to see you next, and I will be improving after this video. Getting more comments on the video will make me much better in the presentation of whatever I have done. Please do comment if you feel that I should implement something different or showcase the things in some different way. So please let me know about any changes that you require in the presentation if needed, or any suggestions that you want in the next video. Sure, I will be implementing that. And I really thank you for watching the video from the start till the end. So thanks a lot for watching my video, and please don't forget to hit like and subscribe.